new insights into the origin of elongated heads in early medieval Germany. Here we have three samples of them. They're said to be coming from an area of southern Russia. But there may be many who think that the deformation was because of head binding, but I don't think the first skull here on the left has to do with head binding that much because of the fact that even the jaw is a lot bigger. Even the eye sockets are a lot bigger than the other two skulls, for example. Well, we have seen people with large skulls, haven't we? Not everybody has the same shaped skull. But anyway, this new type of new discovery, this is by the Johann Gutenberg University in Mainz, Germany. I'll leave a link for the actual abstract. It's very long, but also on Science Daily. The paleogenomic study investigates early medieval migration in southern Germany, and particular phenomenon of artificial skull deformation. The transition from late antiquity to the Middle Ages in Europe is marked by two key events in European history, hence the fall of the Western Roman Empire and the migration into this empire by various barbarian tribes such as the Goths, the Alemanni, the Franks, the Lombards. This resulted in a profound cultural and socioeconomic transformation throughout the continent, and many settlements from the epoch would subsequently develop into the villages and towns we see and we know today. An international team led by anthropologist Dr. Michaela Harbeck from the Bavarian State Collection for Anthropology and Paleoanatomy, SAPM, and population and genetics professor Joachim Berger of Johann Gutenberg University, Mainz, this is where the article comes from, has now performed the first genomic analysis of populations that lived on the former territory of the Roman Empire in Bavaria, Germany, from around 500 AD, and provided the first direct look at the complex population dynamics of what has popularly been known as the migration period, or Volkswanderung in Germany. In addition to anthropologists from Mainz and Munich, the team also included Dr. Krishna Virama, a population geneticist from Stony Brook University in the US, as well as colleagues from the United Kingdom and Switzerland. In an interdisciplinary study funded by the Volkswagen Foundation, the international research team analyzed the ancient genomes of almost 40 early medieval people from southern Germany. While most of the ancient Bavarians looked genetically like Central and Northern Europeans, one group of individuals had a very different and diverse genetic profile. Members of this group were particularly notable in that they were women whose skulls had been artificially deformed at birth. Such enigmatic deformations give the skull a characteristic tower shape and have been found in past populations from across the world and from different periods of time. Parents wrapped their children's heads with bandages for a few months after birth in order to achieve the desired head shape, explained Dr. Michaela Harbeck. It's difficult to answer why they carried out this elaborate process, but it was probably used to emulate a certain ideal of beauty or perhaps to indicate a group affiliation. So far, scholars have only speculated about origins of the practice in medieval Europe. The presence of these elongated skulls in parts of Eastern Europe is most commonly attributed to the nomadic Huns, led by Attila the Hun, during their invasion of the Roman Empire from Asia. But the appearance of these skulls in Western Europe is more mysterious, as this was very much the fringes of their territory, said Dr. Krishna Virama, first author of the study. So by analyzing DNA obtained from these elongated skulls, Professor Joachim Berger's team revealed that these women likely migrated to early Bavarian settlements from Eastern Europe, although there is evidence that there was some genetic contribution from Central Asia, as genomic analysis points to the fact that women with deformed skulls in this region are genetically most similar to today's southeastern Europeans, and that the Huns likely played only a minor role in directly transmitting this transition to Bavaria. Berger noted, besides their deformed skulls, these women also tended to have darker hair and eye color than the other Bavarians they were buried and probably lived with, who primarily had fair hair and blue eyes. But the migration of females to Bavaria did not only involve those possessing elongated skulls. Only a little later, two women came to be identified who most closely resembled modern Greeks and Turks. In contrast, there was no evidence of men with drastically different genetic profiles. Most of these foreign women are found with grave goods that look unremarkable compared to the rest of the buried population. Added Verema, these cases of female migration would have been invisible from the material culture alone. This is an example of long-range female mobility that bridges larger cultural spaces and may have been a way for distant groups to form new strategic alliances during this time of great political upheaval, in the absence of a previous Roman hegemony, stated Berger. He said, we must expect that many more unprecedented population dynamic phenomena have contributed to the genesis of our early cities and villages. Interestingly, though, our results are primarily there is no major trace of genetic ancestry in these early inhabitants of Bavaria that might have come from soldiers of the Roman army, said Habrecht. We need to keep investigating on an even broader basis how much Celtic and Roman ancestry is in these early Bavarians. And from the abstract of the article, we see the significance of this. Many modern European states trace their roots back to a period known as the Migration Period that spans from late antiquity to the early Middle Ages. We've conducted the first population-level analysis of people from this era, generating genomic data from 41 graves from archaeological sites in present-day Bavaria and southern Germany, mostly dating to around 500 AD. While they are predominantly of northern Central European ancestry, we also find significant evidence for a non-local genetic provenance that is highly enriched among resident early medieval women, demonstrating artificial skull deformation. We infer that the most likely origin of the majority of these women was southeastern Europe, resolving a debate that has lasted for more than half a century. Modern European genetic structure demonstrates strong correlation with geography, while genetic analysis of prehistoric humans indicates at least two major waves of immigration from outside the continent during periods of cultural change. Population-level genome data could shed light on the demographic processes occurring during the intervention periods have been absent. Therefore, we generated genomic data from 41 individuals dating mostly to the late 5th to 6th century AD from present-day Bavaria, southern Germany, including 11 whole genomes, mean depth 5 by 5.56, and in addition, we developed capture array to sequence neutral regions spanning a total of 5 megabytes and 486 functional polymorphic sites to high depth in all individuals. The data indicate that while men generally had ancestry that closely resembles modern Northern and Central Europeans, women exhibit a very high genetic heterogeneity, including signals of genetic ancestry ranging from Western Europe to East Asia. Particularly striking are women with artificial skull deformation. The analysis of their collective genetic ancestry suggests an origin in southeastern Europe. In addition, functional variants indicate that they also differed in visible characteristics. This example of female-biased migration indicates that complex demographic processes during the early medieval period may have contributed in an unexpected way to shape the modern European genetic landscape. Examination of the panel of functional loci also revealed that many alleles associated with recent positive selection were already at modern-like frequencies in European populations about 1,500 years ago. This is from the PNSA article, an abstract, and also from Science Daily. I'll leave links below for you for this. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.